everybody, Big Seven here, back for some AFL SuperCoach content, and I'm ranked 84k. Last couple of years have finished in the top 200. This year has not started this smoothly. Although in saying that, like 84k in I think it was 2024. Where was I? 2024. I was ranked 60k after round one and 11k after round four. And I finished top 100 that year. So the rank in round one does not matter. It really just depends on how good the team is set up in the long term. What rookies have you got? Which ones do you have to trade in? Do you have any premiums that have to go? I think I'm doing okay in that regard. I mean, I would probably rate my team like a 5 or a 6 out of 10 at the moment. There's a couple of rookies I need to get in, but I think I'll be able to manage the first couple of rounds without using a boost, and that's important because using the boost gets you through upgrade season pretty nicely. And yeah, between round 6 to round 11, if you've got an extra boost, you can get an extra premium up on most teams, and you can really cut into the deficit there. So yeah, round 6 in 2024, 8k, round 11, top 200. Last year, similar kind of story. Started a little bit better, 27,000. That's a good overall position for round one. But yeah, I didn't really start putting the foot down until in round 5. I made a bit of ground, kind of hovered through 6, 7, 8, and then really starting putting some dents in teams from about round 9 onwards. So round 8, 11k, round 15, just outside the top 1,000, and finished the season relatively strongly to finish in the top 200. So I guess the point is don't stress too much over a round 1 rank. Even if it does leave you in the bottom of your own group that you created. League code for that is 921633. Would be nice quietly if someone with a bad rank joins that, so I don't have to be the bottom person there. But it's very early days, not stressed at all. And there are a couple of things I need to fix. And I won't go through. I'll try and do this video as fast as possible, but I've got quite a bit to say, so we'll see how long this goes. But yeah, the team, Whitfield underwhelming. I'm not worried about him in the long term, although another low score, and maybe I think about flipping him, but probably not. Should be fine long term. Just got behind the 8 ball early with the ratio, and by the time he started hitting targets, the game was over. So found it hard to score. Should still be top 6 defender. Blackiston, oh, that was a frustrating watch. So I went to the game. I went to pretty much every MCG game this weekend. So I went to 4 games, and Blackiston isn't as bad of a player as people were making him out to be. He only scored 60, faded out of the game pretty badly. But I was watching, so Hawthorn kicked 19 points for the game, right? And whenever Blackiston was on the field, his role at Essendon kick-ins was essentially to be a decoy, and he would run from defensive 50 to be the deepest forward. And I think that was designed in part to like try and tire out the opposition ruck. But it doesn't make sense. Hawks were playing 2 ruckmen. They were playing Reeves and Meek. And so Blackiston's doing all this like medium intensity running for nothing to get into the forward line, which, by the way, whenever there were forward stoppages, Blackiston was sitting behind play, which is fine. But he's just doing all this medium like intensity cardio for nothing. Like Essendon weren't able to transition the ball out of the back line anyway. And then he ends up getting cooked. So his scoring through the first 3 quarters was fine. Like it wasn't amazing, but 23, 15, 20. And then he's gassed in the 4th quarter and gives away a bunch of free kicks. And it's crazy. Like why are they using him as a decoy and like purposely gassing him out when he's up against 2 ruckmen? It's like, Brad Scott, man, I think he would be in my bottom 2 coaches at the moment. Like that wasn't the only questionable thing he did. If we go and look at time on ground, and yeah, Sharp is the lowest one there, but rookie in his first game. I'm not going to yell at him about that, even though Sharp had a solid early impact because, yeah, Sharp got more time on ground in the second half. So I'm not going to berate Brad Scott for that. But Parrish, Caldwell, and Roberts in your bottom five for time on ground, like these are three of you best players. What are you doing? Like, how is Archie Perkins getting more time? Like, I just that coach, man. Yeah, he is a terrorist. That's all I'm going to say about that. So yeah, I think Blackiston he could be a trade out. I've got other issues. At this stage, the plan will be to trade him at round 3, but we'll see. He plays Vigo Visentini this week. No, not Vigo. He plays Dante Visentini this week. So there's a chance that Blackiston scores well, and then he looks like a good kind of mid-price play. But there's so many rookies around that the mid-prices weren't really needed this year. I probably underrated the rookie crop a bit. And you got guys like Milan Murdoch just coming out of Waffle and looking like a player in game one. So it was probably a bit too conservative with the mid prices, but those can be changed. So yeah, Blackiston, probably around 3 trade. Coleman, he's going this week for me. Hasn't shown enough in his first 2 games, and there's just cheaper options that are scoring better than him. And Coleman may not even be best 23, so he is likely to be a trade for me this week. Sarong and Jakes on field, both were solid. Gibcus and Lindsay, both fine. The defender I'm missing is Grill. I was really tossing up on the Thursday night between like Blackiston and I've got Lindsay. I was tossing up between those two and then going like Grill and then Hayden Young. But I went for the more secure option with the 2 mid prices. I was a little bit unsure about Grill's job security and draft profile listed accumulation as a negative, but he had a really good debut game. He'll be in that side, and yeah, bad miss, but I'll correct to it, and we'll be fine after that. Butters is the captain. Wasn't expecting him to get tagged, and normally when he does get tagged, he deals with them really well. I thought it was probably a mistake by North to tag Butters over Rosé because Rosé can get shut down really easily with a tag. He doesn't work through it like Butters normally does. But yeah, I only saw half of that game, but yeah, Butters didn't work through the tag like he normally does. I think that's just a round 1 thing, but hopefully he isn't checked out. Yeah, his future at Port, I think he said that his future at Port depends on where they're going as a football club, and early signs for the Josh Carr regime are not great. Dacos 126 got the bye this week. I'm happy with him as a selection. Errol has to go, unfortunately. Was looking like a really good selection, and then dislocated shoulder, going to be out for a few months. So yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with him yet. I think I've got a plan, but I'll go through that a bit later. Windhager, I picked him thinking he was going to be a defender, and then he goes and does a tag job and has 32 touches in anyway in midfield. And yeah, because he still had a bit of impact, so but Windhager probably gets the points with all the all the accumulation he gets. But I would prefer him in the back line. In order for him to be a successful pick, he needs to get defensive DPP. Otherwise, it's just like a mid-pricer that might make between like 50 to 100K. But if he does get defense DPP and plays in defense, I think he can be a top 6 defender. So I wouldn't be trading him in. I'd prefer to wait and see how he does moving forward. But definitely not trading him out at this stage either. We'll see how the role goes, and if he keeps scoring like this, and just hold him until he goes to like 510, 520, and then trade him out then. Parrish didn't score that well, but he didn't score that well apart from first and last quarters. So like the scoring per quarter, yeah, had a big first, had a big last, nothing in the middle. 90 is fine for his price, though would be hoping for a little bit more. Clear hold. Um, Bruin looks like a smash as a mid-pricer. 110 is good. Jagger on field is good. Myers, I had him on the bench, and then the plan was originally to have Zach Ostelsky in R3 and then McAndrew in the flex. But I kind of got a little bit of cold feet on Zach Ostelsky. I wasn't sure if he was going to hold in the long term once like Gardner and Andrews return. Draper's back in the mix as well, so he won't be used as a second ruck. So I saw a little bit of positive PR on Watkins. Josh Carr said he was going to play for. Yeah, he thought he was going to play pretty much. I don't remember exactly what the quote was, but what I took out of it was he had job security and 99K with a chance of getting midfield time, which he didn't get. I thought I'll go Zach Ostelsky to Watkins, and if I need to get McAndrew on field for future rounds, then I'll deal with that. He'll get on field in round 3, covering Grundy or English. And then in this round, he'll be on the bench, and then we'll correct after that if we need to. And if Zach Ostelsky plays in round 3, I might just trade him in, but we'll see how things goes. But anyway, that left Myers on field playing in the back line. That's normally a cheat code for North players, and scored 70, which is fine. Dersma 78, that was good. Playing, I think, wing, and then like got some junk CBAs as well. I'd expect him to play that wing role and maybe goes like 65 to 75. Happy with him as a pick. Sharp kind of mentioned him low game time, but yeah, got more game time in the second half and should hopefully get some more game time going forward. Looks a player. And then the forward line, Sheasel, don't have to say too much about him. Petrarca, hadn't really considered him as a captain option, but he should be in the frame for that now. 152 coming off a 170 in opening round. Looks like he's really taken to that move up at Gold Coast. Flanders 104 is decent. Rochelle 88, he probably left about, I reckon, 15 to 20 points on the table. Just had some back-breaking clangers, like kicked it out on the floor under no pressure, and yeah, hit a couple of Collingwood players a couple of times when he shouldn't have. So yeah, could have gone 105, 110, I think. We'll see how things go with Rankin back in the mix, but I'm hoping he holds the CBAs. Sounds like Saligo's going to miss. So if I go to CBAs from last year, so yeah, towards the back end of last year. So yeah, Saligo sounds like he's going to miss. So it's 30% CBAs that have to go somewhere. But yeah, towards the end of last year, Rankin didn't play a lot of midfield time. I think he should have, but Nick's preferred him forward. So there's a reasonable chance that Rochelle just keeps his like 50% midfield time and goes like 95 to 100 or maybe even more. So I'm happy with him as a pick. I'm hoping that this week he retains that role, scores like a 90 odd, stays a bit under the radar, and then kind of explodes from there. The worst, I mean, it's not awful, but it's always annoying when you pick someone. So I'm probably the example I would use this year is like a Dan Houston, where you pick someone as a pod, they're going to break out, and they score 2 really good scores, so the masses jump onto them. And yes, you do have those 2 scores in the bank, but you would rather they start like with like 2 serviceable scores, and then like the masses don't really pick up on them, and then they go on with it after that, and then they've increased in price after that, and people have a bit more hesitation in bringing them in. So yeah, I'm hoping similar for Rochelle, just like a 90 odd next week with 50% CBAs, and then explode after that. Filippo, just in the wars with injuries, although it sounds like it was only a cork and should play this week, so nothing to be concerned about there. Lombard 55, and yeah, could have fielded Marshall and Robertson. I probably didn't put enough thought into that decision. I just thought Lombard coming off the 70 last week against a weak, um, not a weak opposition, but coming off a big win and then playing a weak opposition this week, I thought it was a pretty safe play. And you look at like Jake Rogers from Gold Coast, I think played a similar role and like he scored in the 90s, I think. Yeah, 96. So that could easily have been Lombard this week. So I'm not losing any sleep over it. Marshall, he looked really good down back and then rolled his ankle, but it sounds like he's going to be okay for this week. Even if he isn't, he's a hold and will be going on field this week. If he does play for me, I think against Essendon, yeah, he can go on field. And then Robertson, I wasn't sure what his role was going to be. I thought it might be wing with a bit of midfield time, and I think it was kind of 50-50, but he's a tackling machine, so he can be fielded with some confidence from here on out. I didn't talk about the rucks actually. I just realized I skipped over them. Grundy 89. It's annoying when your bench option scores one less than them for 520k cheaper. But I'll back Grundy for the year. Just for some reason, he's struggled with that Brisbane matchup for the last couple of years. So I'll back him to get on with the job. High break even. It's 183. That's all right. I'm picking him as a keeper. If he drops like an 80 this week against Hawthorn, then I might have some concerns and move him on and stop the bleeding a bit. But at this stage, I'm fine having Grundy, just as long as he doesn't drop a stinker. I don't want him getting to like 550 and then holding him through all that, and then people just pick him up and have got effectively 120k advantage on you. So yeah, English, he was English. Yeah, 127, not complaining about that. And then, yeah, McAndrew, I mean, he can definitely see the field in future, but I mean, effectively for me, it was Myers over McAndrew. So I only lost 18 points out on that. So at this stage, I'm fine with McAndrew at R3. Lindsay 71, he was on 25 at halftime. Melbourne looked to be like a really low fantasy team this year, just with the new game style. Yeah, Lindsay, 5 kick-ins. Salem took 10, kind of flipped in the practice match. I think there's scope for Lindsay to get more kick-ins moving forward, and also just for the team to use him a bit more as a distributor. And it's hard because I mean, Melbourne are like very low disposal numbers, but yeah, Salem 23. It didn't look like they were really looking to use like one particular player out of defense, but I'm hoping that Lindsay can be that guy as the season progresses. What else did I want to look at? Yeah, and probably some of the fades like Bontempelli had him number one on the trap list. I'm very happy to see that people were trading him in off a 160. It's Bont. He's going to have high scores. He's going to have low scores, but I don't think he's going to average 130 for the year. Scored 115 opening rounds, so yeah, 33 touches, 3 goals. He's not going to do that every week up against a weakened GWS midfield. I'm not concerned about the fade. I'll pick him up at 620, and he will get to 620 at some point. So yeah, I know people are looking for error replacements, but Bont at 700, no, thank you. Freo and Geelong. Luke Jackson is definitely interesting. He was another one that I had on my fade list, and I'm a little bit unsure about it. I still think he could be a massive trap because and Sean Darcy's coming off a limited preseason and yeah, didn't get the same amount of ruck contests that he had in years past. So like Darcy had yeah a little bit less than Jackson. But that could correct back to 2025 when like looks like Darcy was probably around 65-35 was the split, whereas like the split this week for ruck contests was like 40 to 60 effectively in Jackson's favor. That could swing once Darcy gets back to full fitness. So yeah, I definitely wouldn't be trading in Jackson this week. Although I said it in my Travis video, he's a huge talent. But yeah, just the scoring, and he has had a game like that with Darcy playing last year, where like that game against Carlton, 27 disposals, 18 hitouts, 142. So he scored 142 this week. But then the games afterwards, 98, 57, 84, 125. And these were all games that Darcy played in, I'm pretty sure. Not sure if he played round 25 or not, but I think he did. I think they played both rocks from um, the end of the year. So I'm hesitant on Jackson. I mean, he might not be a trap, but he still could be. Yeah, he's definitely someone I would rather watch for another week rather than get in this week. So many tabs open. Where's the 301? Yeah, Hayden Young was another one I faded. I don't think he's going to be a bad pick. I wasn't expecting him to spend as much time forward as he did. I know there was going to be a bit of time forward, but last quarter he spent pretty much the entirety of that in the forward line. -10 in SuperCoach, which is, I think it was like one drop mark and pretty much all scaling in that quarter. So he was looking like a hard fade up until that point. But yeah, just Freo, they're not a high fantasy team either. So, and yes, Sarong scored 150 as well. I wouldn't want him either. Like he had an 80-point SuperCoach last quarter, and he was spending time in the forward line too. So I don't think I want any of these Freo players, to be honest. And Jackson, I could change my mind on, especially if it looks like that ruck percentage is going to stay in Jackson's favor. But I was talking about Brad Scott. Yeah, Brad Scott as a bad coach. I don't particularly rate JL either. So um, that's that. Um, and yeah, I think, yeah, Windhager only 103, but yeah, played in midfield. 32 touches though. Yeah, I just wanted to see him get more cheap ball in the back line rather than midfield and have to do a job. And yeah, I want him getting that defense DPP. Yeah, Max Gorn, that was the one I wanted to talk about. He was another one that salvaged his score with a big fourth quarter with the game on the line. And that is Max. Like he is and yeah, this is the first couple of quarters are wrong because, yeah, the stats provider was out. But what did he score in the last quarter? Yeah, 66 final quarter. And yeah, Max is a big moment player. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, if you were looking to score at three-quarter time, like you would not have been happy. So he salvaged his score, which is good for owners, but still don't like him as a long-term prospect this year. Same goes for Sarong. I hope people trade into him. I'm not really interested in him at all. But yeah, let's talk about trades on that topic. So for me, Coleman is definitely out. What I'm going to do actually, I'll put my team in order essentially. So I think the plan was, and I'll get all the buy players off field. I think that's everyone. Yeah, so forward line's looking strong. But yeah, essentially, let's look at some player break evens actually, because that shapes the game, the trade plans essentially. Milan Murdoch, -72 break even. Didn't start him. And he was a small consideration when I was moving from Zach Stelsky to Watkins. It sounded like Murdoch was going to play forward though, and that was the case. And but it wasn't like a small forward stay deep. This was like a high half forward, getting up to stoppages around the ground and yeah, looked very much the part. Straight out of Waffle, couple of weeks on the list, and already looks like a top 5 West Coast player. So um, yeah, normally I don't like pure forwards, but he's got that like kind of Max Hall kind of vibe to him. Speaking of Max Hall, like he looks a hell of a player, like 142 against Melbourne, and yeah, this is his second year playing. So yeah, Max Hall looks like a player, but yeah, he also made a ton of money last year, and Milan Murdoch probably in that same kind of breed of like half forward or get up the ground, be a tackling beast, has some swagger about him as well. I want him in the team, whether it's this week or next week. Um, I don't care. I think he has to come into this team at some point. If you don't have players to trade out, sure, you can wait on him, but I do, so he'll be in for me. And the other players with low breaking evens I already have Zach Kostelski. I think I'll trade him in round 3 if he gets named. But I think the only spot for him is going to be in defense. And yeah, I think Gardner could take his spot. So he'll be a watch for round 3 team sheets. Jack Carroll, don't particularly rate him as a player, and I think he could be out of the side sooner rather than later. He could also get up to like 300k. So if I had him, I would hold. If I don't have him, I'm not stressed about missing him. And if he turns out, he turns out. Selwood 38 on the weekend. He's a hold if you have him, but not particularly interested in him. He's going to be like a lockdown small defender, and I mean that was the reason I didn't pick him. Like his round 0 game was a 70, but there were a lot of tackles in there, and I think it's more likely you see 40s and 50s out of Selwood rather than the 70s that we saw in opening round. So not for me. Buderick kind of saved his score a bit in the last quarter once Bailey Dale went down forward. Dale probably still a bit underdone. Buddha, yeah, I think he can do like 70, 75 from here on out. Definitely not trading into him though, and with a round 3 bye, and we could see him drop a low score, and then everyone wants to trade out of him. So uh, fine hold. Don't want him in my team though. McDonald, he's interesting, but he's another one round 3 bye. But he does have the 101 in the system for a few weeks. Uh, yeah, I don't mind him as an option. Just yeah, I've got to get in Murdoch, and
I really liked what I saw from him on debut. He scored 90 in fantasy, and I had a quieter fourth quarter, which suppressed the scoring a bit. But as a non-owner, I feel blessed that he only scored 73 rather than going on with it and scoring like 90 to 100, because that's what he could have done. And I had concerns over his job security and scoring potential, and both of those are gone. So yeah, Grill is someone I want in. Fonte is interesting. Negative 33 break even. 110 first week. Was it 110 or 120? I think it was 120. 119, yeah. So 119 follows it up with an 83. GWS defenders do well in that system. Like Ash and Whitfield both did 110 last year, but I think like Himmelberg and Iden both did like 90. There were like 4 players in GWS's defense that scored 90, that averaged 90 or above last year. So the system is friendly for defenders. Fonte, and yeah, he's still pretty young. I'm not sure if I would have him pegged at 90 just yet, but he could be like a 85 player, and then you're happy with him as a pick. I don't mind him as an option, to be honest. Just probably the thing that is a turn-off is the buy. I've got Whitfield and Sinclair. Wouldn't talk anyone out of picking him. Braden Cook, I don't have 92. And I was looking at his profile today though, and I watched the game. He looked good, but he's also whereabouts. Yeah, so I was looking at his profile today, and like he's had a lot of peaks and troughs. So like 92, and he looked like a good player. Don't get me wrong. Last year scored 62 in the one game that he wasn't injured or subbed out. So, and then going back to 2024, like there's 104, 87, 71 in there. There's also just like a string of really low scores. So I want another week on him. If he scores like a 60 or 70, then I'm probably going to trade him in. But he could score like a 30 or a 40, and then, he's not in my trade considerations if he does that, because in the past he has been up and down, and I think that's kind of been the nature of like Adelaide's wing role in the past, like Chase Jones and Lockie Scholl and Isaac Cumming. It feels, and I've looked at them as kind of like draft options in the past, and it feels like they'll have a really big score and you'll bring them in and then they'll drop like a 30 or a 40. So it might be a lesser conversation about Cook's talent rather than a conversation about the nature of the wing role scoring for Adelaide players, but we'll wait and see on him. I wouldn't be surprised if I have to bring him in next week. And yeah, it probably sums up like the low break-even players. So, the ones on my watch list: Murdoch, Grill, and Braden Cook. Everyone else that I have, I've got pretty much everyone else that I think I need to have. We'll see what happens with Watkins, because like he only got limited CBAs, and I think that happened like mostly in jug time. But I know they saw the first half of that game, but he didn't look completely awful. I think he was playing kind of like half forward, and that actually might not be too bad for his job security. Like, I don't mind Joe Richards as a player, but like he's got to beat out Corey Durden and Joe Berry, and like I think he can beat out both of those players if he plays like somewhat decently. So we'll wait and see on him. Happy to hold him as long as he's named, especially at 99k. It's very easy to make money from that price point. So the plan, I'm going to see what Sarong does. If Sarong does well, then I'm going to get in, and Kitty's gone regardless. But the premium I haven't mentioned, and I'm calling him a premium, but he's basically a breakout. It's Dan Houston. He has pretty much everything that you could ask for. Collingwood are just feeding him the ball out of defence, and I think that will continue. He also has, I think it's like a 106 season at Port. So, and yeah, that's 2 years removed. So it's like, it's not even like light years ago. It's relatively recent. Just a down first year at Collingwood where he wasn't getting used as much as he would have liked. And it's not uncommon for Collingwood players to have a down first year, first time learning the system. I mean, Lockie Schultz for a first round pick was looking pretty awful for a while, but he's like a pretty solid player now. And he had a down first year, but probably doesn't get his flowers. Not that he's a Supercoach prospect, but as a general player, probably a little bit underrated. Back to Houston, 106-23, 106-2024, using him as the main distributor out of defence. Collingwood playing a bit slower as well and chipping the ball around a fair bit. So I'm very confident in the Houston pick. So I would be happy going for him. But we'll see what happens. I don't have to get him this week because he has the bye, but if Sarong scores well, then Houston comes in and it means I can essentially take Sarong's score. If Sarong scores poorly, then I will get in Grill in that defense spot. And Errol, unfortunately, he has to go as well. I'm just not really that keen on the premiums, or that goes across pretty much all ones. Like, there isn't a premium option that kind of stands out and says, I want to pick him. Like, Yeah, Jackson had a big game, but I'm iffy on him because of the whole Darcy situation. Sarong scored 150, but all of that was in the last quarter. Max Holmes, he's up and down scoring, and he's also on a bye. Who else is there? Lockie Ash is probably the one that I would feel the most secure in because I think he's pretty much a guaranteed top 6 defender, but getting Ash is... it just feels bad to trade in a player that has a bye coming up, shares the bye with Sinclair and Whitfield, and yeah, it just feels bad to do that, but I might end up doing that next week, potentially. We'll see how I feel about premium options, but with best 18, like, I feel okay carrying over a bunch of cash in the bank, so at this stage, I'm just going to get the rookie that I think is a must, and that'll be Milan Murdoch. Leaves me 618k in the bank. And yeah, I'm down a premium this week, but it's effectively like the same as having like a Holmes or a Walsh or a Houston. Like, it's basically the same thing. I'm happy to carry over the cash for a week, get a bit more confidence about a premium, because if I'm picking a premium, I want to pick them for the year. I don't want to have second thoughts about a premium and pick someone I'm kind of on the fence about, and I do that and then end up having to trade them out. Like, trading premiums it's not a good strategy. So I would rather wait a week, get some more data, pick the one I have confidence in. And there are some midfielders I wouldn't mind having. The thing with midfielders is so many of them are going to drop in price. Yeah, I mean, I mentioned Holmes before. I think Anderson would be solid. Ed Richards I like as a pick, but yeah, got a 90 in the system. So yeah, a lot of the premiums I like do have that early buy. The other one I am still a big fan of is Finn Callahan. He might be one that comes in next week, even though he's got the buy. Coming off a interrupted preseason, but yeah, 89 when he was in doubt to play with the hip flexor, and then scores 120 in a decent loss to the Dogs. So I think my two preferred options as premiums would be Callahan or Ash. But it's hard to trade into them, both having a buy coming up. Jackson probably looks essential if the ruck split stays the same between him and Darcy. And if Darcy gets dropped, like, Jackson's coming in, there's no doubt about that. But at this stage, he's a watch, not a pick for me. Yeah, not paying 700k for the Bont, like, that's just bad process. I don't think he's going to average over 130 for the year. So not paying that elevated price. There's some defenders I actually wouldn't mind picking. Miller, 142. Both teams that have played Collingwood have had defenders that have scored well. And I mean, Miller, he did put together a full year last year, but yeah, I still worry about his durability. If I was picking an Adelaide player, I would pick Josh Worrell. Averaged 98 in the back end of last year. Just the thing for Worrell is he going to be like in that 100 and 105 range and like a low end D6? Or does he have the scope to push 105 plus? That's pretty much the only concern with him. And yeah, 116 against Collingwood. If he scores really well against the Dogs this week, then I think I would bring him in next week. Like, even 110 plus, I think I would be fine with picking Worrell and then seeing how the season plays out from there. Yeah, Houston is the other one that I'm interested. Like, I'm picking him next week, pretty much no matter what happens, assuming he stays fit. Rosie, happy to fade him playing midfield, 105, and if teams do their homework, he'll be the tag target and doesn't get through a tag as well as Butters did, even though Butters was curtailed a bit this week. I think good teams are going to tag Rosie. And Rosie, he scored poorly against Essendon last year. I think Caldwell, like, it wasn't a tag, but it was kind of like a run with, and he didn't do well last year. So I'm hoping he gets tagged by Essendon, and I need a rare victory. So Rosie definitely not coming in for me. Fonte, I kind of mentioned him. He could be a player as a mid-pricer as well. But at this stage, it's going to be Coleman and Gordon out. Grill comes in if Sarong scores well, because then... Houston comes in if Sarong scores well, so I can take that loophole. Otherwise, Grill comes in. And then Murdoch comes in for Gordon. That one's locked in, I'm pretty sure. Unless there's a premium, I suddenly get warm on. But I think I want the extra week of data. See how the premiums do this week. Pick one that I like next week, whether it's Worrell or Callahan or Ash, or maybe one of these premium midfielders, or even just someone that comes out of nowhere and looks like a strong mid-pricer. Those are the plans for this week. I'll be down to premium effectively with the cash in hand, but that's fine. I can deal with that. Vice captain, I think I'll back Butters into bounce back. And if he doesn't, then why have we paid $650K for him? So I'll back him to bounce back. That midfield looks thin with Dacos on the bench and Bruin, but and it's best 18 this week, so we'll be fine. And then vice captain, potentially Petrarca. He's in some pretty hot form. I think he's a logical choice. Could be tempted elsewhere, but we'll see how things shape out. So, those are the plans for this week. And, geez, I really hope I'm not 80K next week. Otherwise, there will be cause for concern. But if you are in a bad position overall-wise, there's really nothing in it. Like a better captain decision and like Marshall and Robertson on field, and I'm looking at like a 2,300, and things are a bit more rosy. But we'll be fine moving forward. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you for the next video.